Hey, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Fish Tales. And have we got a special guest for you? You can see him. I hope I'm pointing the right way, but it's Steve Chapman of GetUrFishOn, YouTube channel, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm going to just jump this up here so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But this is his YouTube channel. We want you to go over and make sure that you subscribe to that channel. He goes in depth into statistics, the background stories of everything, and also just some topical issues that are going on in the industry. So, without further ado, Steve, welcome.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
appreciate
We
it.
had a little bit of a conversation beforehand, but this is
Yes,
really cool. I really appreciate you having me on.
we really appreciate you and taking the time, and I know everyone's got busy schedules, but super cool to be able to have you. I've been a fan of your YouTube channel and following you, and I was able to connect with you, and I appreciate you jumping on here. Quick reminder of the folks: what we do with Fish Tales is we tell a fishing story, and we have a guest on, and we let them choose whatever the fish story that they want to tell. And what we want to do is with these stories is encourage you to take somebody out fishing so that they can have their own fish tale or fish story as well. Because once you get one fish story, you're going to want to go again and get another one. So we kind of open it up. It could be a funny story, could be a really exciting story, could be a giant fish, the first fish, could be a time they went like a little sentimental fishing trip with somebody. We leave that open to our guest. And Steve, what kind of story do you have for us today?
My story is I could make it short, but it'll probably be a little bit longer. Mine is going to be a fly fishing story and something that was funny, but probably in my top 5 fishing experiences of all time.
Yes, that's what got me back into fishing was fly fishing. So I'm all ears. The stage is yours.
I don't think people realize how much I love fly fishing. So when I started getting back into fishing, went back into bass fishing, and then I felt myself that I needed to. I don't know why I felt like I wanted to try fly fishing. So I went to someone, got some fly fishing lessons, and he created a bunch of horrible habits for me. And I mean
Bam.
horrible habits. He was the long distance fly casting champion that year, and I went, like I said, I went and took lessons from him. And then when I started to go fly fishing, I couldn't throw a fly into the wind. That's the best way to put it. So I took lessons from John Cave, who was a master fly fisherman. And it took me 8 months of work every week with John
To
to
break
break
those bad
myself
habits.
of the bad habits that this one guy created.
You're all
So,
in then. So what you're saying is
oh,
when you do it, you are
oh yeah, that's my
100% all in.
problem.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm beyond all in. I am I need to know everything as much as possible, and hopefully I can do it. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. So I decide, or at that point I had a girlfriend, and we decide that we're going to go to Yellowstone. And all I do is think about all of the fishing I'm going to do in Yellowstone. Now I have other experiences in Yellowstone that probably would be great stories, but this one is about catching fish.
Mhm.
So I do months and months of research to figure out who should be my fishing guide outside of Yellowstone, just outside on the west side of Yellowstone. And I don't remember his name. I do remember his name, but I'm not going to say it. But I find this guy that I think that's written a book, and I call him in December and say, I'm coming to Yellowstone at the end of June. I want to pay you to take me fishing. I want to go fly fishing. I'm going to bring all my own stuff, everything. And he says to me, well, it's going to be $450 to fly fish for the day. But he's like, we're going to do a shore lunch and we're going to do all these other things. So it'll be just a fabulous experience.
Mhm.
Here's the $450. You can have the money. I have made this exact date, June, in the middle of June. Really, I don't remember. It's May, June-ish. So then about a month before we're leaving to go drive to all these places, to go to Yellowstone, to go to Glacier, just so I can spend 3 weeks of fly fishing every place I go throughout the country. This is not an exaggeration. This man calls me and says, I have to cancel your day of fishing. And I'm like, what? Now, mind you, during this time, I've had to go back to John and try to learn how to roll cast and how to mend and do all these things specifically to fish outside of West Yellowstone. Everything. I've changed everything. So then I'm like, well, why? And he's like, well, I think you're going to hit the salmon fly hatch. And I'm like, what the hell's a salmon fly hatch? And he's like, well, there are these big flies, and that when the salmon fly happens, they die a few days later, and the fishing becomes insane. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I booked you 6 months ago. And he's like, no, during the salmon fly hatch, I charge people $1,200 to go fishing with me. So at the time, I said to him, I'm going to be nice about it and be as politically correct as possible. I told him I was going to blow up his website. In not in so many terms, but at that point in time, I was pretty much doing websites for a living, search engine optimized websites.
Okay.
And to get a website ranked really high, you needed to have a whole bunch of backlinks from other web pages. And I told him, I'm going to put you on 2,000 or 3,000 adult websites. You will never get another view online ever again. Now and quite honestly, I'm pissed at this point in time.
Yeah.
So we talk it out, and he's like, no, don't do that. I don't want you to ruin my business. I'm like, well, I mean, I can't find another guide to take me in a month.
Yeah, 4 weeks out.
Like, I've made my whole 3-week vacation solely on hitting Yellowstone at this time. Not that I know that the salmon fly hatch is happening, but this is the key to my fishing. The key to 3 weeks of traveling around the country to fish. And we talk about it, and he's like, you have to give me more money. And I'm like, I've already paid you what your website says.
Right.
So we go back and forth. And then finally I say to him, finally it comes to the thing. I say, look, if the fishing is so good, I'll let you not do the shore lunch, and I'll fish just a half a day. And then you can book somebody the other half of the day, and you can double book, and then you still get the money. Even though I have you booked for the whole day, let's just compromise somehow. Because to be honest, I don't want to have to do all that work and hurt your business. But at the same time, you've taken my $450 for 6 months. Right. You've scheduled it. This is what it is. And I was, honestly, man, I was furious. No joke. I was furious. Yeah. So we decided. So then the whole thing is, well, you have to rent my equipment. You got to buy all my flies. You got to do all this. So I'm like, okay, whatever you say. I'll rent your fly rod. And then he's like, all we're going to do is fish salmon flies. You're going to go through 50 to 100 salmon flies. Because he's like, you're not going to be able to cast. You're going to put it into the weeds. You're going to put it into the trees. And I'm like, okay, I'll buy every salmon fly you want. It's all right. I'm all right with this. Yeah. I get up there that day in the morning. He's grumpy as hell. He's pissed off at me. And we get on the water, and he brings out 100 salmon flies. He gives me a fly rod, which he charges me $15. So what? But then he's like, every salmon fly you lose is $5 or $6. So I'm like, you think I'm going to go through $500 worth of flies? So my first instinct is, I'm never going to let him tie my knot.
Right.
Key.
That's smart. That one on the first back cast.
Yeah,
Came
gone.
off.
So and the other thing is he didn't know how to use a digital camera at the time. There were like, remember that you had the real cameras, not your phones. Yeah. And so he said to me, I said, here's a camera. And I'm just going to use this, even though it's a go. Here's a camera, and it has a little on the back.
Yeah.
And I say to him, do me a favor, just get as many pictures as you can with this camera. And he's like, okay. We go fishing. We fish for 3 hours. I catch a couple, maybe I caught 100 trout.
What?
Not an exaggeration. Every time the fly hits the water behind a rock or an eddy or something, I catch a trout. Like,
man,
soon as it hits the water, because that salmon fly looks like it's fallen off a leaf and landed in the water and they're dying. I mean, you couldn't have predicted or picked the better day to fish.
Golly.
After 3 hours, we pull over the side. He's like, let's just have lunch. I said, look, we're done for the day. This is the greatest day of fishing I've ever had. I mean, I've got 22-inch brown trout. I've got 24-inch rainbows. I've got grayling. I've got brook trout. I got cutthroat. I've got everything. It's ridiculous fishing. And I'm not joking, ridiculous fishing.
Golly.
I'm like in awe. And so we go over and have a sandwich and a snack and a cookie because he knew what I wanted. We go over there on the shore, and he says, and as we're on the shore and he's making lunch for us, and I'm telling him, have him meet us out down over here so you can load the boat back up or get the other people in, because I'm done. I'm done for the day. My shoulder's hurting me. My body's sore, the whole 9 yards. I've caught more fish than ever. And I can hear him zip, 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 snap, zip, 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 snap, taking pictures of me all day. So I'm all happy.
Yeah.
As we're having this ham sandwich for lunch, I'm watching the Yellowstone come out, and I see this, like, just this nose. And I, like, right in front of him, just back cast and fling it. And the fly, and it just lands. And just as it lands, 24-inch brown trout comes up and takes my salmon fly.
Let's go.
And I'm like, boom. I'm screaming like Mariah Carey. I've got a higher pitched voice. You have never been seen someone so happy. And this guy says to me, he goes, that was the best cast I've ever seen. So bring in the fish, nice. Take a couple pictures, say our goodbyes. I give him a $50 tip because I think, $50, I'm struggling for money at the time. So it's not like.
How many of those flies did you go through?
One. I didn't lose one fly the whole trip. So the
100
best
fish on one fly.
100. Well, really, I think it was 97 to be honest.
You tying it on was the key to that, keeping one fly.
So that's the best. The second best part of that story is, not just the fish, that I didn't lose any flies, but when we went to go count them, he kept thinking that I was losing flies, but I was putting them in this like dry drip so that it would make the fly stay up on top of the water instead of sink.
Oh yeah.
And at the end, he's like, he counts all of them, and he's like, "There's 99 here." I go, "Yeah, I didn't lose a fly all day." He goes, "You didn't put one fly into the shrubs all day?" I said, "No." I said, "I practiced for 6 months to learn how to fish this exact way so that not that I wouldn't lose a fly, but that I would be perfect, or as perfect as I could be." Mm-hmm. So I gave him an extra $5 for the fly, which made him even worse. And then he threw the phone at me. And I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And then I will be honest, I bought a book and he autographed it for me. And his autograph, it's like, if the book is, so you're going to see my notes, so that's all right. Yeah. So if the book is this big, his autograph is the size of my nail. And I'm like, you can't even read his. But so the revenge part of this video, or the funniest part of this whole thing is, while we're fishing, we're in his boat. And like I said, I could hear him zip, 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 snap, zip, zip, snap, take pictures.
Yeah.
This man took 48 pictures of my butt, of me leaning over
And picking up.
with him in the back, leaning over to release a fish. He never got one picture of me holding a fish other than one picture. I got one picture of the trout that I casted to.
Golly.
And it was, and of course, it was one of those things you had to bring I had to bring it to Walgreens or
Yeah,
CVS or
yeah.
someplace to
You
get
don't see those pictures till 3 months later, and you're
yeah,
so excited to get them developed,
yeah.
and then
And then they're all of my fat butt. And I'm like, are you joking me? And it was like,
I I hope you put one of those up on the shelf somewhere. This is my
there's,
my greatest fishing trip ever, right here. It's just a
yeah.
picture of your backside.
What made it funny was like I don't think he realized, because he and I talked afterwards, because he was like, you should know I did 2 charters after you. So not only did I double dipped and I triple dipped. And he's
Nice.
like, that day I made $3,000 on fishing charters because I let him. We only
Yeah.
fished for 3.5 or 4 hours at the most. I think we fished from maybe 6:30 to 10:30 or 10:45, and then we were off the water because I mean, it was just every cast. It was unbelievable fishing.
Golly.
Uh,
That man, that will get you hooked if you show up on a fishing trip, folks, and that's happening. Like you'll only want to fish the rest of your life.
yeah, it's like taking kids fishing. You want to take a kid fishing and you get them out there and have them introduce them and have them just manslaughter fish.
Yes.
But the problem is that if you do that, like I've done that with my little boy, I've taken him fishing in, well, I have 2 private ponds that I fish. And I tell people, if you want to catch bass, I'll take you there, but you need to realize it isn't going to be like any other fishing you'll ever do the rest of your life. But I bring kids out to it so that they get introduced and can learn how to fish. But
Mhm.
that just completely spoiled me on fishing the Yellowstone
Yeah.
from then on. And I've been back
Yeah,
4
I
or
was gonna
5
ask how many times
times.
you've been back? 4 or 5?
Yeah, I think
Do you always
5
try to go
total.
around that, middle of June?
I I tried one time and I was weeks off, and
Okay.
then the second time, which I guess I could tell you another time, I ran into a grizzly. So, the grizzly store I've ran into 2 grizzlies fishing, and, the grizzly on Yellowstone Lake was, without question, my scariest fishing story of all time.
Yeah, you don't wanna run into them. My
No, no,
wife and
no.
I ran into a grizzly and 3 cubs fishing the Russian River up in
Oh,
Alaska,
yeah.
and, well, we made some not smart decisions and followed them down to where the salmon were running because we started up with where the trout were,
Yeah.
and then we went down to where they were going, where the salmon were, and it's like you're shoulder to shoulder fishing down there.
Yeah.
Well, we got on the one side of the river, and they were eating some of the leftovers because people were filleting right there in the middle of the river, and but mom came charging at us. So all of us on that bank went scurrying up the bank. Well, it was so steep you couldn't see once you stepped 4 or 5 feet back from the edge, you couldn't see down. So no one knew where the bear was, and
Oh
we're all up
gosh.
there, and it's just
Yeah.
like, what luckily my wife said, "Hey, I think I got a leak in my boot." I said, "Good enough. Let's go." So
That's that,
we took
down
off.
here. Down here for fly fishermen, the thing is that a lot of people love to go fly fishing for saltwater fish. But if there's
Mhm.
even a slight amount of wind, they're up, 5-mile-per-hour wind. They're like, no, I can't fish. And that's really why I went to John Cave, because I could throw a line in no wind in 3 back casts, 110, 120 feet, my whole line.
Wow.
But if you put a 5 or 10 mile per hour wind in my face, I couldn't get 10 feet in front of me. Couldn't
Yeah.
even get the leader out. And John, he had a nice. I had a nice name for 8 months with him. He didn't call me Steve one time. Started with an A and ended with an E. And that's what he called me every day that he saw me. But he had to break me of like some seriously bad habits, And learning from him,
That's
learning
a
from my
long cast
master.
though for fly fishing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
That is
so
a
like in YouTube, like when I do something, when I get involved in something, I need to know as much as possible.
yeah.
And it's just my statistical brain. But and it doesn't mean it's right, by the way. I should mention that. Sometimes it's just flat out crazy. Sometimes the right side is talking to the left side, and they don't like each other at times.
Yeah.
But it's life. But with John, it was more of trying to learn. Like if I want to go to Georgia and fly fish, how do I do a roll cast where I only have a stream that's 8 or 10 feet?
Right.
Or learning how to cast when you don't have an area behind you for you to be able to cast, like casting up in the air. And then most people get out there and they think that that it's all about muscle for your fly. It isn't. It's
Not at
about
all.
keeping that wrist as and just doing this and being able to feel that rod load and knowing when to go forward. And
Right.
so, like I said, it probably took him 2 months just to break me of not muscling it, just like getting mad, and then
Well,
going, okay, just slow down, man, just
when you
slow
go
down.
when you go fly fishing, kind of the opposite. You can kind of tell who the bass fishermen out there when they set the hook, when they're fly
Yeah,
fishing on those little trout, because they
yeah.
just
There's nothing
completely,
better than the Roland Martins.
yeah,
Just your whole body. I like this weekend in Bassmasters. I thought it was funny because you could tell like they start to wind up. They put 1 foot forward and they start to lean back a little bit, and they're like, "Here it comes, here it comes." So it's always funny to watch
yeah.
bass anglers set the hook.
hmm
Saltwater people don't do that. You kind of lift your rod up or
Just kind of
pull.
let the rod do it and just kind of
Yeah,
lift it up a little bit. Yeah. So, but man, that's
yeah.
an awesome story. What an amazing adventure.
It was
Plus,
just
you had 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior to that driving around and fishing different places. Amazing.
yeah. I mean, I went because I'm in Central Florida. I drove up to Panama City and fished there. Fished 2 stops in Texas and 1 stop in Louisiana. Every day I drove just a little bit further to get myself there, and then went all the way from Central Florida or Orlando to Glacier National. And then the way home was just hauling butt, no stops. It
Just
was,
straight.
like every day all the way up there.
Yeah.
It wasn't every day of fishing, I should say that, but it was a majority of the trip was designed to fish throughout the country. And
And
I
how
went
did your
steelhead.
girlfriend like that traveling?
She really enjoyed it because she didn't really fish, but
Yeah.
she enjoyed it because she got to see. She was like dropping me off someplace to go fish. I was with guides and stuff like that most of the time, so she would have the car and she would go, and she really enjoyed being outside. She would hike during the day, and then we'd meet up at lunch, and then have the rest of the afternoon to do whatever we wanted.
Yeah. Okay.
And we took a pulled behind camper, and we stayed at all these national parks that we could stay at. We stayed at some campgrounds, some here and there, and we actually did it twice because it was so much fun. I will say the second time wasn't really about fishing; it was more about just being together. And we went in the early April, and that was more or less just trying to get into Yellowstone, or really end of April, early May. We were trying to get into Yellowstone to see all of the animals before the millions of people get into Yellowstone. So that was our goal. So we were just doing a lot of outdoor stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Sounds
It
like
was a lot of
a lot
fun.
of fun.
It,
Yeah.
it was
Heck
when I was a lot younger, man. I don't
yeah.
think I
Yeah.
could do it now.
That driving is not as much fun as I've gotten
No,
older. It's like I used to be able to drive all night, and now it's like, man, if it gets past midnight, I'm like, all right, let's just get a hotel and
gets past
we'll get up
9:30, and I'm
tomorrow.
calling
Yeah.
it.
Right on. Well, we appreciate it. We're going to let you get back to your day. We know you're busy, but folks, this is the logo you're looking for on YouTube, on Instagram. Get over there, hit that subscribe, hit that follow button. Trust me, you will not be disappointed with the show or podcast. What do you call it? Is it
I call it a
it's
vlog.
a channel, a
I
vlog? There
think
you
this
go.
is a podcast.
Yes. Yeah,
I
I don't know
like
the
this.
difference.
Yeah.
Yes, and then this is what you're going to look for right there. You hit that subscribe. Let me get it right here. I don't know if you guys can see my arrow or not, but it's right there. Get on there and hit that subscribe. Breaks down all of the leagues, all the pro fishing, BPT, Elite Series, MPFL, in-depth stories, statistics behind all the anglers. That's coming up soon. Who's in, who's out, who's requalified for the next year's series, plus anything else that's going on in the world of fishing. Um, get over there and they're fun. I would say 7 to 12 minute is your average
Yeah.
video. Some a little bit longer, some a little bit shorter, but they're a good digestible length and a lot of fun to watch. So, Steve,
I
we
appreciate it,
appreciate
man.
you and thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in again. That's a wonderful story. And remember, take someone fishing. No one has ever been in the history of the world been mad or angry at something when they get a little bite on the end of that line. Trust me, whatever you got going on in the world, great, bad, whatever. If you take somebody fishing, if you take a kid fishing and you see them catch a fish, holy smokes, your world is going to light up. It is fun, but you don't have to take a kid. You can take your neighbor. Maybe they need to go fishing. We'll see you next time on Fish Tales with Fishing with the Bobber.